Banning the nets in Florida won't save a single porpoise. It won't help the manatees, and it won't keep the endangered brown pelicans from harm. Because you see, the nets that Florida fish harvesters use don't endanger any of these species. Banning net fishing, however, will endanger another species, the Florida fish harvester. If net fishing is banned, approximately 40,000 jobs will disappear, and more than 1,000 families will lose their livelihoods. Many seafood suppliers will be unable to survive without the income from net-caught fish. And pristine coastal estuaries will give way to condominiums and other types of development. You want the real conservation facts? True environmentalists know that banning the nets has nothing to do with conservation. A healthy dolphin does not get caught in a net, and sea turtles are in much more danger from hook and line fishing than from nets. With 500,000 recreational boats on Florida waters, compared to fewer than 8,000 commercial fishing vessels, ask yourself, who is really damaging the environment? You want the real facts on economic impact? Many economists estimate that the state of Florida will lose more than $1 million of fisheries-related spending. And that doesn't include the $60 million in sales tax generated by restaurant sales of seafood. Part of this revenue comes from the sale of fresh, net-caught Florida seafood. But the really hard facts aren't numbers. They're people, the thousands of people in wholesale and retail seafood sales. The people who work on boats, who process the fish, who cook the shrimp, who serve the scallops, who own the restaurants, and of course, the millions of Florida residents and visitors for whom seafood dining is a way of life. While you may think a ban on net fishing will only stop the harvest of a few kinds of fish, think again. Trout, mackerel, pompano, mullet, whiting, spot and sheep's head are among the kinds of seafood that net harvesters bring to the marketplace. And don't forget the fresh white shrimp from Fernandina and the succulent local shrimp from Apalachicola. Without this industry, these towns wouldn't stand a chance. A tradition, a heritage will die. The economic base will collapse. Everyone who lives in Florida will feel the adverse effects of a ban on net fishing. Will tourists still be attracted to the many hotels and beaches of Florida if they can't get fresh Florida seafood? What about the taxpayers? Will they be happy paying welfare benefits for all those people who will be out of work? And what about low-income families and senior citizens who find inexpensive net-caught fish a perfect way to maintain a healthy diet? Fish harvesters also supply the bait fish used by many people who fish for sport and pleasure, and for the mammals in marine parks. Some folks will tell you that net fishing harvests are mainly sold to the Japanese. It's true that a large portion of the mullet roe caught in Florida waters is exported to Japan. This helps reduce the national deficit while providing a living for many Floridians. You see, it's not the conservationists or the economists or the small business owners of Florida who want you to ban the nets. The real backers of this bill are the makers of outboard motorboats, those in the rod and reel industry, and investors from Texas. Sounds fishy, doesn't it? Florida fish harvesters already operate under approximately 200 regulations. These regulations make sure that the ocean's resources are safe for tomorrow's consumer, as well as for tomorrow's fisheries. The Florida fisheries industry is a clean industry. Shrimpers use special turtle excluder devices to keep turtles from being caught in the nets. Fish reduction devices keep fish bycatch to a minimum. Don't be fooled by misinformation. If net fishing is banned, the consumer loses, the state of Florida loses, the taxpayers of Florida lose, and the fish harvesters lose. But a few folks who already have a lot of money stand to gain a whole lot more. Ban the nets in Florida, and a lot of Floridians are going to be left out in the cold. Vote no.